it working or is it black right now?
It's working, but you're not in it.
Yeah, so it's frozen. So hit deactivate. Remember that button? See it? Oh, okay.
Hold on 1 second, folks. Give us a minute. Hang on one. Welcome to Razed Typical. How's everyone doing tonight? Dan, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, Ben. And, you know, once again, to our true and loyal fans, it is not an episode of Razed Typical if we did not have some kind of technical issue.
Yeah.
So it feels good for me that we've had a technical issue already. Hopefully we'll get it out of the way, and then we'll have any more for the rest of the night.
Oh, and happy Pretzel Day. It's National
It is
Pretzel.
National
Shout out
Pretzel
to Dan
Day.
Dizio and the Philly Pretzel Factory. Look, we got a pretzel here. I got our shirts on.
Yeah, so Ben, you went to how many pretzel stores today? Like 1,600?
1 year I did 16.
Yeah, you did 16 in 1 year.
Actually, a lot of them. And me and my dad did them together. It was fun.
That's true. That's true. But this year, we did not do as many.
Yeah.
Because you're doing what today?
I was working on the show and working.
Oh, yeah.
And we got a special guest here tonight.
We do have a special guest here tonight. Tonight's guest is Zach Smith, and he is currently living in New York. He's 24 years old. And he is a statistical support specialist for the NFL, which I'm very excited to talk to him about to get some more details about what that means. And so Zach was diagnosed, Ben, with autism the same time that you were.
Yes.
When you were 2 years old. Zach was also 2 when he was diagnosed. And so we'll get into that a little bit as well. We'll talk about kind of those experiences that he had growing up in school and outside of school. And Zach went to college, which is one thing, Ben, that you wanted to do but weren't able to do.
Yeah.
And so Zach graduated in May of 2020 from Worcester State University.
That's very cool.
And that's an awesome achievement that we're going to talk about as well.
That's amazing.
And so, Zach, thank you so much for being on the show.
Degree.
Yeah, he does. His bachelor's degree.
That's great.
That's
when
you graduated from college. So you're right. So, Ben, how did you meet Zach?
I actually was looking around the internet one day and typing autism in NFL, and an article came up.
Oh.
And I said, oh, my word. Somebody from autism works at the NFL office. So I looked up his website and I said, we need to get you on my show. So that's how I connected.
I love it. That's so cool. That's amazing.
We were on the initiative of getting World Autism Day to get people to wear blue on April 2nd.
Right.
So shout out to the NFL. Thank you so much for doing that and for the initiative and the Eagles and Josephine. Josephine does a great job as well.
Yeah. Well, I saw that newsletter that they put out about autism awareness on World Autism Day, which is super exciting. So I love that.
Big things are coming and I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, for sure. So Zach, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me on. I'm very excited to be here and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we always start the show the same way, Zach, and it's we ask the same 2 questions. So Ben, do you want to ask yours first?
So a good way to get to know someone is through their taste buds. What place do you like to eat out?
Oh boy, that's a tough question. I've got so many different types of favorite food, and I could go on about different types of specific food, but I'll just leave it with pizza and good pizza place right around the corner from my apartment called Angela's Pizza. Definitely one of my favorite pizza places here in the city. And also favorite pizza place in New Haven, Connecticut called Sally's. That's close to where my family lives.
Wow.
Of all the great foods that exist out there, this one I cannot live without.
You know, when I was a kid, Zach, I used to love pizza, you know? I begged my mom every weekend, can we get Domino's? And sometimes we didn't, but I used to be a picky eater, but I always liked plain, but I like different toppings on my pizza.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So what kind of toppings do you like on your pizza?
I'm a big carnivore when it comes to pizza, so I like having different types of meat, and definitely I'm a big sausage bacon guy. And I also like pepperoni as well. And sometimes I'll like to go for potato pizza.
What?
And also and a couple of the New Haven pizza places have clam pizza, which is very good too.
What?
Whoa.
They said potato
Clam?
pizza and clam pizza.
Now, potato pizza I could do, but clams, I don't think so.
You know what they should make, Dan? They should make a pretzel pizza.
Oh, there you go.
Little
That's an
Caesars used to
idea.
have one of them.
That's an idea.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Zach, the question that I like to ask is what's something that makes you angry?
Oh boy. Well, that it's hard because another tough question because I like to think positive and there aren't a lot of things out there that make me angry because I'm a very big positive thinker and it's hard to have a negative thought come in my mind with something like that.
Sure.
But if I had to choose one, I'd probably say the one that comes to mind is driving in the car and someone cuts you off on the highway and you have to slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. Those Jersey drivers,
Yeah.
New York drivers, and Virginia.
Yeah, I feel like it can be
And
bad
Philly.
everywhere you go.
Philly.
But I know that I think Ben also relates to you on that, Zach. You're a little bit better now, Ben, that you drive. But I remember when you were younger, you get really frustrated in the car.
I do sometimes now because the drivers. The other day I was driving on 309. Someone had a table in the middle of the road.
In the middle of the road?
And I'm like, and the guy was like, throw it off to the other side.
What?
And I'm like, I was standing there and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he goes,
He's like waving you
he's
around.
like, move over. I'm like, come on, man. What are you doing? And he was like, that's it. He threw it off the other side.
Wow.
It was so funny.
That's crazy.
I mean, I would have laughed about it now, but if the
Yeah.
guy says, what are you talking about this on the podcast? It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's watching our podcast.
But it's fine. It's fine.
That's a crazy story, Ben.
Like, I don't know how that happened. Like, people cut me off on the turnpike.
yeah.
PA turnpike. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, so Zach, I if you very well can tell that we relate to that for sure. That's a frustrating thing. Very good answer for sure. So I know we talked, or in your intro, I talked about what you do now. But did you have a job before? Like, what was your first job that you ever did?
I'll do the second question.
My first ever job, I'll provide two answers to that. My
Sure.
first non-paying job and then my first paying job. My first non-paying job was being a statistician for my high school football team. And I got to go to games, both the home and away games, and do stats. And I got to work with one of my former sixth grade teachers, which is very cool. And he's very nice. And we got to do stats together. And that was a lot of fun cheering on the team. And I have a lot of fun memories from high school helping out with the stats.
Wow.
Then my first paying job was I was a movie theater usher at Regal Cinemas.
Wow.
And I got to clean theaters and clean up popcorn and take out the trash. And I would also be a ticket taker at the door and rip tickets and tell people where their theaters were. And that was a fun experience.
Wow.
That's
Learning about responsibility and also getting a paycheck, which is very cool, saving up for
That's
college.
amazing.
And I got to, during my time with Regal, because I worked there through high school and into college, I worked at 3 different Regals.
Wow.
2 in Massachusetts and 1 in Connecticut. And I had so many great Regal employees that I enjoyed working with, and I still keep in touch with several of them today, and managers as well. And the customers were very nice.
That's
and
amazing.
Wow.
I had a great relationship with all the general managers I worked with, and that was a lot of fun building up my experience, and then eventually turn the corner from a full-time job or a part-time job as a movie theater usher, ticket taker, along with doing my football stats work in high school and college, to having a full-time career now
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
that's amazing. That's so
Oh
good.
my gosh.
And we just like to talk about that kind of like you said, the path, because a lot of people I feel like forget, or they see someone who's, you know, further down the road and they're like, oh man, how'd that person get there? Or they, you know, they've been so lucky, you know, you hear that kind of stuff a lot, and it's like, no, it took a lot of hard work and, you know, like you said, learning responsibility and forming those relationships, which is important for sure.
And my first job was working at Olive Garden, so
yeah,
it really, I am in the same boat as you. Like I worked in a movie theater before.
Yeah, you did too for
So
a
sometimes you
while.
have to do the things that are hard in order to do the things that we love.
That's true. That's true. And one of my clients too, I work with other special needs adults, and one of my clients works at Regal, and he says very similar things. He really enjoys the staff and the managers. Great. Yeah.
All right. So what do you do for the NFL? Like for statistics, like what's your main job?
Yeah.
My main job is supporting all 32 stat crews for all the 32 teams across the NFL.
Wow.
And what we do is during the season, we support the crews during games, and doesn't matter what type of game it is, preseason, regular season, postseason, we go through. Some of us do it for the statistical part, making sure that all the stats enter correctly about who made a tackle, how many yards is that throw, and then some of us, including me, which was my primary role from this past season, will most likely be the same role heading into next season, is the operating the betting feed with significant events. And what we do is we have a list of events such as touchdown, field goal, turnover, and we have to press a button which alerts Genius Sports, our partner, about data and the event going on in the game. And when that event happens, such as if a touchdown looks like, if the receiver, the ball carrier looks like he's about to score, we would turn on touchdown and then keep it on if he does end up scoring. But if he stops short of the goal line, then we would turn it off just so we let our partners know that the touchdown didn't score. And that both of those processes are very cool, being with statistics, which is something I'm very passionate about. And then during the week, what my coworkers and I do is we go back through the data. And again, it's some of us do the stats part and then the betting feed part. And then we go through the data and pick out any discrepancies. And with the stats, it would be most of the time it's tackles, because it's very hard picking out who made tackles, especially if you've seen football when they're huge piles taken down the ball carrier.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll have to adjust tackles for that. But then for the betting feed, it's more for the turning on event on time, such as touchdown or turnover or field goal should have come on earlier than did on game day. Then we put those reports together and send them out to the stat crews to let them know about areas where they had discrepancy with, and to prepare them for their next game, letting them know how to best go about it for next time, so they could be more that there won't be as many mistakes, so they probably will do a much better job with doing the stats.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I like how you can press the button. It reminds me of the emergency button in elementary school. But I don't press that button, Ben. Yeah,
it's a good question. Are there obviously there's a couple different buttons, but are there some that you shouldn't press?
There's one at the top called stat delay, and normally that's only reserved for if the stat crew ends up falling behind. And most of the time we were good about it, but more often than not, it would be an accidental press. It's touchdown. It's the one right below it. So we just recently found that a vast majority of stat delays were errors from accidentally pressing it. But normally we're good about holding off from pressing it until we know for sure that the stat crew is behind entering the game.
Yeah, I think, Ben, you'd kind of struggle with that job because you'd get too excited.
I would have been. Oh my God! I need to stop. Oh no! Ben, I need to see you in my office.
You should hear Ben when a sports game is going on around here. He's always jumping up and down or causing a ruckus, no matter what's happening, whether good or bad.
I mean, like the Sixers right now. Come on. Like, they missed so many free shots last night. Danny Green, like,
Yeah, you were
James
upset about
Harden
that.
was terrible. Like, what? Why? Okay.
And so yeah, I can see how you need a little restraint in pressing those buttons to make sure you're like, all right, we know for sure it's happening. All right, good. But it's cool. I never really thought about the math and the number side of sports.
Yeah.
And how obviously, you know, the announcers kind of pull out statistics and share those from time to time. But a big part of our show really is highlighting, I think, like jobs that sometimes people don't think about. And your role is essential for people to know those things. But I think a lot of times people just think, oh yeah, that just, you know, it's magic. That happens by magic. It's like, nope, there's someone that's handling all that. Yeah. So I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I wanted to go into my next question.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to make friends at school? Because I had a hard time growing up making friends.
Yeah.
Back when I was younger, during my preschool and kindergarten days, it was difficult for me to make friends because of my interactions and when I was younger, because sometimes I would be in my own world, especially after my autism diagnosis, because it wasn't long between that and when I started preschool, and I would have to learn right from wrong and about because of my quirks and things like that. But I did have a few friendships in those years, and it was tricky too, because right after preschool we moved to New Jersey for a year for kindergarten. So I was only there temporarily, and I was very, very shy, and that's how I was in preschool too, and that also played a role in not having a lot of friends. But once I moved after kindergarten, we moved to Massachusetts in time for me to start first grade, and there my friendships started taking off. I made so many great friends, and they knew how they made me feel at home and made me feel welcome at school. And there was another kid in my first grade class who also just moved. He ended up moving from somewhere in Massachusetts, so he was just moving from one area to another. But we were starting the same class together. We were classmates, and we had a great time. We had a nice friend group, and we would hang out all the time, play video games. We would play Mario Kart, and we would
love that.
I love it.
Play tag outside, and we would ding dong ditch people, and we would play manhunt, which is dream, hide and seek and tag. And there's so many great memories from attending grade school from first grade on in Massachusetts, having so many friends. And even though I haven't been in touch with a lot of them since I graduated high school, I still keep in touch with them. I'm on Facebook and Instagram with them, and I have cell phone numbers too, and I still keep in touch with them from time to time. And I've let them know about big events in my life, such as college graduation and my NFL job. And I've even made a couple good friends in college as well. And I still keep in touch with them about what's going on. And it's just moving to Massachusetts was such a great thing for me, because of just into the new school system, but definitely making friends helped a lot. It boosted my my personality, made me feel great, and I enjoyed having a nice group of people to hang out with and have lots of fun and share a lot of laughs.
That was really cool.
I love that.
You know, I remember those days with Manhunt.
Oh yeah.
I remember Glenn goes, "I'm gonna go play Manhunt." Okay, bye, Glenn. And then Zach, speaking of video games, what's your favorite type of video game? Because we have atypical gamers tonight, Dan. Right after our show, you can hang out with us, party.
We just started playing some video games and doing some live streaming. So Ben's excited about that too.
You can come hang out with us, Zach. You can say, hey. Oh, that's right.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I also remember those times of manhunt and just really fun outdoor activities with friends in the area. And I think that's really important. We talk about it a little bit every once in a while, but I know for everybody, it's not just Ben, but everybody, one friend I feel like really can change your experience somewhere. And so if you're really feeling like alone or you feel like you're not really connecting with people, we encourage people to find a hobby or something they enjoy doing and then really try to make at least one friend. And sometimes you have to be that awkward person who goes up and starts the conversation. But it's amazing what one friend can do in a situation. One is much better than zero when it comes to numbers, right?
Absolutely.
So to keep on that kind of school topic, I wanted to rotate into college a bit. That was something that Ben had wanted to do, but really struggles on that school academic level. But for you, what was hard and challenging about college for you?
Definitely one thing about college that was stressful was near the midway point of my time there, because during my first couple years there, I was starting to understand how things worked and adjusting to each of my professors' guidelines about their expectations with work and formatting. But once I started getting good rhythm and my grades started going up, getting straight A's, it was that pressure to keep all A's.
I love it.
And, I would get very stressed out and I would overdo it on my work sometimes. And one example is for a blog post we had to do for a writing class, the word limit was 500 and I ended up going into the 3,000 range.
Whoa.
and that was a sign that I was overdoing it and I would get very worked up and anxious, and my parents and one of my consultants at school reassured me that I don't have to overdo everything and just keep it simple. And I sort of drifted into that personality for the last few weeks of my last semester at school, and keeping it simple was the way to go. I still got good grades because I still met all the professor's criteria for assignments, and I finished all A's. And I was at school for 5 years, and after my second year, my cumulative GPA was in the three. It was right between 3.4 and 3.5.
Wow.
And right when I graduated, it was 3.7, which is good enough for magna cum laude. And I was hoping going into that last semester, I had a goal to make magna cum laude, since I was right around 3.65 and was guaranteed to do at least cum laude. But I pulled through and graduated with my bachelor's degree and magna cum laude honors.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Amazing. Honestly, such an achievement. And especially, it's one of those things, like you said, you really wanted to accomplish that and then attach some anxiety to it, to that success. I feel like a lot of people talk about anxiety in regards to maybe failing, or in regards to fears of things that may never happen. But anxiety can also apply to situations where you really want to succeed, and you really want to apply the things that you can do. And so I think it's very interesting that we talk a lot about one side, but the other side is just as important and just as impactful. But I can see how that would be hard. Standards and achieving standards, especially when you set them yourselves, can often be challenging to reach. So Ben, what was the thing that you really wanted to do when it came to college?
I wanted to go eat the food and hang out with friends. But I wanted to be like you guys, because I was like, why can my brothers not do it? And to this day, I'm glad I didn't go to college, because I love doing this. And this is like my college. I can go into schools and talk to other people. Yeah.
I think we live in a good time period in which the avenues to success have broadened, which are nice, because I feel like some people in the past who weren't able to go to college, maybe there was some fear that that person couldn't be as successful. But there are many ways to success, and that's a big part of our show, because every guest we've had on our show has reached success a different way. And
we had Ray Bertram on our show.
Right.
He had a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
and even people like Mike Dempsey. Like Mike Dempsey, he played in the NFL for 2 weeks.
He's a great story.
And then he got injured and couldn't play. But still, has a great life and family, and enjoys what he does. He does.
Which is very cool. Yeah.
Yep. But your achievements, Zach, in college are amazing. And we wanted to point those out for sure. So that's amazing. I'm really, really excited and glad you had the chance to talk about it, because that's so cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna
ask, how's it like living independently? Because my dream one day is to live independently and to be successful, have children, have a wife and kids.
Oh.
Marry somebody. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But literally, I'm just teasing with you there. But literally, just be independent, because that's our dream about having autism. Is literally, we want to be like my brothers. Like we want to be living independently. How was the skills to do that? Like, what steps did you have to take?
It took a lot of it took more of a uptick in my responsibilities for living independent, and I thank my mom and dad for that, because they taught me about how to cook, clean, do the dishes, go grocery shopping, go use the vacuum, and do laundry and all that stuff. And it's something that I have incorporated in my life, because when I was still in school and during my job search, my mom and dad handled all the chores, and I just got to hang out in my hammock and just take in the sun and just relax. And but now it's now I'm the breadwinner, if you will, because I'm bringing in the income, and now with living on my own, now I got to do the chores, and I've got to do everything. And and one of the things the big thing is with New York, just like Philly, has a lot of good restaurants, and it's tempting to do takeout or go out to eat and try them all, but as you know, they're not cheap. And that's where my mom and dad got me an air fryer, and I've been making so many delicious meals and trying out cool recipes, and it's amazing. And that's helped tremendously cut down on expenses, and at the same time learning how to cook, how to prepare meals, and that's been amazing. And I've gotten better at making my bed, and I don't have dishes in the sink, and laundry's up to par, and I also have to do my dry cleaning, bring my work clothes there and pick them up every week or so. And it's even though I've got more chores to do now living on my own, it's something they're important to do, and it's an important responsibility I've picked up since I've been in New York.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I just want to give kudos to you, Zach, because I see something that all of us can do. All of us can live independently, and you're giving me much hope that when I get older, that I can be living independently.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, Zach, you brought up a lot of great points, that with that freedom comes extra responsibility. And it's easy to think about, when you're living back at home and your parents are handling a lot of those things. But then as soon as you move out, you're like, oh, wow, they really handled a lot of things. And I like that you brought up food, because I think that's something Ben likes to go out to eat. And so if Ben had his way, he'd eat out every night.
I need to come up to New York, and we'll have to come up like when maybe me and Dan come up for a day and we come see Zach Smith.
Yeah, we'll have to take him out to eat somewhere maybe.
Yeah,
that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool.
Maybe we'll
love
take
it.
a tour of that week office.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd
Go
be
your
cool.
rounds.
That'd be amazing. But yeah, I wanted to point that out because I think that's amazing that you live independently. Do you live with a roommate or do you live by yourself?
I live by myself. I'm in a studio that's only a 5-minute walk from the NFL, so it's very easy. And even if it's raining or snowing out or any type of bad weather, I could still make it to the office with no issues.
I love it.
That's
That's amazing.
I'm gonna ask my next question.
Yeah.
So, what made you get involved in Best Buddies? I've heard about it through high school. I really should get involved in Best Buddies because I really don't have a lot of friends. I should look into more of that. But what is Best Buddies for those of you who don't know what Best Buddies are?
Best Buddies is a nonprofit organization that helps kids and people and adults of all ages that have intellectual physical disabilities, helps them make friends and land jobs, in some cases, and have living arrangements as well. It was started by Anthony Shriver back in the late 80s, and he started something incredible that I'm very thankful for this organization to exist, and it's changed my life tremendously, both from a relationship standpoint, also from an employment standpoint. And I got started with Best Buddies when I was in high school, and once I saw that my school had a chapter, I signed right up for it, and I got paired with the junior in my school, and we did a lot of events together. Went apple picking, we had Halloween parties, movie nights rather, and because we lived in near Boston, we went to some Red Sox games, Celtics games. Those were a lot of fun.
Wow.
And during my time in college, near the end of my time in college, I discovered about Best Buddies having a job program. And once I was in my job search and looking for a potential place of employment, I got connected with them and worked with an amazing jobs team who helped me narrow my job focus to sports statistics, because it was originally right after college, it was more media writing and journalism, but I had so much trouble finding a job in that field after applying to over 36 companies. It was I wanted to change my career options a bit, and after connecting with them, and about a week or so later, it was actually this exact week a year ago, and when I first heard about the job opening at the NFL for statistical support, and I got to do the interview process, did the hire review, answering video questions, and having only one attempt to answer them, which was super stressful, but I pulled through it. And I thank my Best Buddies jobs team for helping me prepare with answering questions and things like that. Then I had the very next week, had the interview with my managers that I work with now, and a couple of weeks went by after, and I got the job, and I was so ecstatic, and I was over the moon, and
that's amazing.
I was so happy for my family's support and Best Buddies support for getting me through, getting me up to that point and getting the job, and they also arranged for my Good Morning Football appearance last summer, just a couple weeks before I started the job. And I still am heavily involved with Best Buddies now, and I've done several events. I've gone to I went to a cocktail event last fall, and also last November. And I had the great privilege of emceeing the Best Buddies Party for a Purpose, where I spoke to everyone there about my life story and how much Best Buddies means to me. And along with being involved in Best Buddies events, I'm also in the Best Buddy Citizens program, which is it's pretty much the adult version of
Okay.
having a buddy match in grade school, like in elementary, middle, or high school. And I was matched with one of my job coach's husbands, and he's an amazing person. And we do weekly chats every week, and we do runs together and other fun events exploring the city. And he's someone I enjoy hanging out with, and he's another great friend that I've made since coming here.
That's amazing.
And I'm so happy with what Best Buddies has done, and it's been incredible. Decade plus work with them, and it's been incredible.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. I think I might need to do that.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that, because that's something that Ben's talked about a couple times, is that kind of friendship interaction and just talking to new people. Ben's really good at kind of those like first interaction moments, but those deeper friendships and those kind of reoccurring interactions is something that I think you struggle with a little bit, right?
Right.
And you want someone like that you can hang out with and go to movies with, and you got a couple friends like that though, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you seen the Sonic movie?
I saw it like 3 times. Yeah,
but
as you can tell, Zach, I'm a big Sonic fan.
Yeah, that's a
Heart edition.
Amazing shout out to Best Buddies and the program that they do, and it's cool. I didn't actually know that they had more of also like an adult type program, because my experience with them was with high school and them pairing students together, and so that's really cool. There's a similar program they run for adults, which is amazing.
Pick their brains.
yeah, we can definitely reach out to them and talk to them for sure.
Yeah, maybe Zach knows the people, so we can give him that information later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later for sure. That'd be a plan.
All right. Yes. So, speaking of Best Buddies, you done a Best Buddies event. When I saw the article, you caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady. Now, I have to say, Zach, I'm an Eagles fan, and you can be mad at me if you want, but I liked when Brandon Graham sacked Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And I would teach this to Tom Brady and say, listen, Ben's friends with Big Boy.
How did it feel catching that pass?
It was incredible, and that was also something through Best Buddies that I got to do and got to play in the game. And I was assigned the fourth quarter of the charity football game in Harvard that Best Buddies had put on. And I remember getting down to the end and thinking I wasn't going to catch a pass from Brady. And luck would have it on the last play after we got the ball at the 5-yard line. Brady went back to throw. I ran to the end zone, turned around, we locked eyes, and I caught the ball up against my chest, and I celebrated, did a Rob Gronkowski spike to the ground and high-fiving all my teammates. And Adam Schefter was on my team, and Teddy Bruschi, and all those fine players. And it was such an exciting moment catching pass from Brady, and I'm thankful for that. But I didn't get to keep the ball. That would have been something to have nice in my collection of Tom Brady, the pass I caught from Brady. But it was still an incredible experience. And right after I got the job, word, even though it was, I had posted on my social media and reached out to friends and family, that somehow word reached Brady about me getting the NFL job, and he gave me a shout out on Instagram and
That's so cool.
Wow,
congratulating me on the job. And it had in his story the clip of that touchdown pass, and I'm so thankful for Tom Brady for remembering me and giving me that shout out. That was very nice of him, and he's a very busy guy, and even when he's free, and still when he's free, he takes the time to reach out to me, and that was very special.
Yeah, for sure.
For that.
Tom's a really nice guy. I have to admit, people say negative things, but he does a lot of stuff for Best Buddies. But I want to say this one thing about Tom Brady. He is amazing, but because he does a lot with special needs, I think I have to give him credit for this one time.
Just this one time.
That's just one time.
Yeah, we can't let any of Ben's friends catch him saying that,
No,
but
Graham heard that. I would be like, big boy, we're not friends anymore.
but you're right. He like all the sports players, right, of his caliber, the ones that are really up there in professionalism, they have little free time, and so him giving his time in that way, I think, is really, really impactful and sharing of his character for sure. So in that same kind of frame, Ben was wondering when we were going over questions, he was wondering, do you ever brush shoulders with the NFL like higher ups, and if so, what's that like?
Brush. What's Is it okay to ask for clarification about brush shoulders?
For sure. Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
So it means like rub elbows or just say, "Hey, Roger Goodell, how you doing, buddy? Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing, Zach?" Or I have his photo in my room.
Does that help at all?
It does. Yeah, appreciate that, guys. And
For sure.
I haven't seen any players in the office or any current players that work there, but if I do see Goodell, I'll say hello and sometimes shake his hand. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Ben, and Dan as well, but I did meet Goodell one time. My manager helped set up to meet him in his office, and
Wow.
he showed me around and showed me all the memorabilia that he has and all the
Yeah.
I got to share my football passion with him, and he's a great guy, and very thankful for that, and get to meet him and even though sometimes when I do say hello, I do want to brush shoulders and do fist bumps and all that cool stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I know that it's more professional to do a handshake or just a simple hello or things like that. But
Sure.
yeah, it is a great environment at the NFL, and knowing that I now know the commissioner is a very cool experience. And when I watch the draft on Thursday night and I see him announce the picks, I'll be, hey, I know that guy.
I love it.
Roger Goodell is a really great example of the NFL, and he's just an amazing, like, I love his attitude.
Mhm.
I love his passion.
Mhm.
People were saying a lot of bad stuff about him, but I'm like, no, we should say kind things about other people.
Yeah, I think
And people, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
People say about negative stuff about Jeff Floyd the other day on sports radio, and I said, no, we need to say positive stuff because he does a lot of stuff for autism, and they hung up on me because they were like, why are you saying good stuff about Jeff Floyd? Because he's a great man and we should respect him.
Yeah, I like that. I think like you said early on, Zach, like it's we live in a world where I think it's easier to be negative than it is to be positive. And so I think it's really important to take that time and live in that mental framework of positivity. And I think, we've talked about this before, Ben, but the more, I'll just say, the more famous you get, right, the more people will throw hate at you.
Yes.
Regardless of whether or not you deserve it. And so I think, even Tom Brady is an example of there are many, many people who have not even been in the same town as Tom Brady, but they don't like him. And so
I can give some examples. But there's a lot of people out there that don't like me, but it's okay. Just ignore the haters and just move on. And you could catch more bees with honey than vinegar.
Yeah, that's true. That is a saying, man. You're right.
Mrs. Dumbledore taught me that one.
Yeah, there you go. A little school lesson for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciated that early on, Zach, when you said that you try to live in that framework, because I think that's really important.
What's up? Say about the draft.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the draft? What do you think? Do you think the Eagles are going to get a good pick, or what do you think your team's going to get a good pick this year?
I would say that we definitely, the Giants could use a good sorry guys.
No worries, no worries.
The Giants could use a good offensive lineman to try to keep the line in check, to protect Jones or whoever's going to be the starting QB, and definitely a good tight end could work too. Good receiver, and also with I know I've got a lot of people watching this or going to be watching this on replay that are Patriots fans, and definitely Mac Jones is a good quarterback. Definitely had a solid season a year ago, and definitely keep up. Get some good picks for them. Get another receiver potentially. Keep the offensive line going. I know that playoff loss to the Bills was atrocious, but definitely for the Pats, and some good picks there. And with the Jaguars having number one pick again, even after last season when they got Trevor Lawrence, definitely got to get a good O-lineman to protect, and some more offensive talent to help them move around, and lot of good excitement heading into the draft, especially when there are several contenders for that first pick. Since last year we had Trevor Lawrence was pretty much the unanimous first pick, but now could be these guys. We'll be excited to check it out.
Yeah. Are you working at all around that, or no?
No, we're not involved in draft projects. We're still going about what we normally do, but a couple of my managers above the manager I report to, he's involved with the draft in some technological operations, and he'll be involved with that. I think he might be heading out to Vegas for it.
That's really cool.
I love that.
Yeah, my take for the Eagles this season, I think they need to get an O-lineman, or they need to get somebody like a defensive end. I think they need somebody that they can get. I don't know what draft number they are. I think they traded with the Saints, but I haven't been paying much attention. But I remember one day I was watching a video today on Facebook, and David Akers announced the more champs and stuff at Dallas, Texas, and then they announced Dallas Goedert as a draft pick.
Yeah.
Get it? Dallas Goedert.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that was 2018. So that was a fun year when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's when I got to carry the trophy, Zach, at the ring ceremony.
That's so cool.
I know. I mean, it's really cool. Now I have a question for you. So, do you think the NFL can do more stuff by adding more inclusion and more sensory rooms, or more having more experience for fans with on the spectrum coming into a game? Because the Eagles do a lot with the Eagles Autism Foundation, but I'd love to see more NFL stadiums have a sensory room and include more fans, like welcoming them as they come in. I have a sticker that says, "Please be patient with me. I have autism," and it helps the employee. Oh, I didn't know you have autism, because sometimes I go up to people and they're like, "Who are you?" But it helps that conversation go if I wear that sticker.
That's a cool thing you have. That's something that's very very nice, and it's a great thing to have for helping out at Eagles games. But yeah, I do feel that there should be more options for sensory friendly areas at NFL games, because as I'm sure you guys know, it can get super loud when the crowd cheers and things like that. And definitely something to keep in mind is that the other teams can follow in the Eagles' footsteps if they haven't already, about creating those sensory friendly rooms for anyone on the spectrum or has issues with sensory overload. Those are very cool things to consider for the NFL to have, whether it be at the club level or something the league can introduce at some point. But definitely autism has evolved more frequently over the last several decades, because it used to be 1 in 1,000 for the diagnosis, but now it's more in the 1 in 50, 1 in 40 range, and definitely including those things will help tremendously for autistic people, to let them know that they are cared about, and that even though they don't react as well to noise and they have other sensitivities or anxieties, that they're still part of a group or an organization, that they can succeed and have fun in what they do, regardless of what anxieties they may have or sensitivities.
Yeah.
Can I just say something real quick, Zach?
Yeah.
Zach, you are an amazing speaker. You are so talented at talking about stories. If I ever think of any places for like I work at a giant food store, so if we ever had a conference or anything, I would love to have you come speak, because I feel like you are an amazing person to talk about your stories.
Thank you so much, Ben.
Yeah, Zach, you do a really good job articulating and speaking your thoughts and ideas.
I just had that in my brain.
Yeah, that's fine, dude. And that's something I think a lot of people, regardless of whether or not you have a disability of any kind, I think people struggle with expressing themselves and articulating their thoughts. I'd always joke that Ben likes to speak in schools and do public speaking.
Yeah.
This setting with a couple people, I'm great. But if you put me on a stage in front of anything more than 50 people, I'm sweating bullets.
Or if you have to announce the draft, but the second pick, Dan Hartram.
If I had to announce the draft, Ben, I think I'd be accidentally sleeping in that day.
Like, oh, see you guys later.
So Zach, we always kind of wrap up the show with a question, and then I always leave time at the end for you, but I'll ask kind of my last question, which is, if you could tell young Zach Smith something, what would you tell yourself?
To never give up, and know that football is your life. Then that's something. Just keep going with football. Keep being involved with statistics and following everything, and something will go through with it. And even though it might be a tough challenge to get there, with a lot of work being put in, everything will work out. And just know that a fun career is coming up in a very sporty, fun environment, working with amazing people.
Yes, so true.
I was gonna say, big things are coming. We're really excited because I'm hoping the NFL starts more the ERG employment group. Like, they're gonna start working on more of like the autism side. And which is really cool. So we're really excited about like what options they're gonna do for the future.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think you're right, Zach. I think you found a thing that you're passionate about, and it's easy to kind of get caught and think, oh, like I don't know if I could be successful in this, or I don't know how this can turn into something that I could do full time. But that perseverance, I think, is important, and continuing to do that thing that you enjoy.
And you never gave up, which is amazing. Like, I would give up if I say I don't want to do this anymore. But you know what? I would go back and be like, I think I can.
Yeah, there's some times that you like to give up, right, Ben?
That be raised.
Yeah, sometimes Ben struggles with that. But that perseverance is really important if you want to succeed. And I think we've seen that a lot from a lot of our guests. Yeah, go ahead.
So the floor is yours. We just want to give the guests time to say what's on your heart's desire. So whatever you want to say and whatever you want to promote, the floor is yours. So just talk about what you want to talk about. If there's anything on your mind or anything that you missed, you could just say it.
Thank you so much. And the first thing I want to say is to thank you guys for having me on tonight. And I really enjoyed chatting with you and telling you all about my life story and all the challenges I overcame and how I got to the NFL and how that's going. And I'm very excited with that. And as Ben just mentioned, we're in the process of developing a disability ERG for the league, and I'll be sure to provide you guys with updates about how that how that's going in the coming weeks. And I'm
Yeah.
very excited for that. And definitely this has been a amazing journey now that I'm coming up on a year with the applying for the job. And it's been a very fun ride so far at the NFL. Get to work with amazing people and do stats and live in something that I'm very passionate about, living my dream job and living in my favorite city of all time in New York. And it's incredible to be here. And also with my not having my family be so far away, just a 2-hour car ride.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, and having them be close and visit every now and then, and very thankful for my mom and dad's support over the years, and they're watching tonight, and thank you, Mom and Dad, for all of you done over the years, and appreciate everything and all the love and support, and also all the support from all family and friends.
Oh yeah.
That I have in Connecticut, Massachusetts, here in New York with best buddies, and NFL as well, and more friends to come over the years. And definitely that's been going very well, and I appreciate them all's support and all they do, no matter what it may be. And if my message to anyone who's on the spectrum or knows someone on the spectrum who's in the same or similar situation to me is to never give up and continue to follow through, and never give up on your dreams. And even though it may seem challenging, it's that good things will come in the end to those who work hard and never give up and persevere, because it's very important to keep on top of assignments and projects and chores and all that stuff, and that's all that's needed for success. And the more you give, the more effort you put in, the more you'll get out of it. And definitely for anyone on the spectrum who's going through school, that holds true. And I know I've talked to parents of autistic kids after their first diagnosis being worried, and my parents were the same way when I was diagnosed 20 some odd years ago. And the big thing is never give up and always have hope, and it takes a village too, because you work with lots of specialists, lots of therapists, and they help me tremendously, occupational therapists, speech therapists, and all those helpful people that can make anyone an amazing person and a great communicator. And all those are very important, and just very important to have faith and be true to yourself, and always never give up and put your best foot forward in everything you do.
I love it.
That is amazing. I literally had tears in my eyes.
Yeah, I honestly could not have said it anything better myself. And so we have to end on that note. It was perfect.
Yes.
Such a perfect ending. Zach, thank you so much for your time.
Zach.
We appreciate you spending your evening with us. Thank you to all of the fans and viewers.
We'll see you next season.
Yeah, so this is actually, Zach, you finished out the season with us. So this is the last episode of season 2, and we're going to take a little summer break.
We're going to do video game, atypical gaming.
Yeah, so to all of our fans watching, we appreciate you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
We'll be back in late August, early September.
Yep.
And if you want to watch us play video games, you can always do that too. But thank you for letting us do this show. We've really enjoyed it. And thank you to all the guests that we've had in the past as well.
And shout out to Zach's mom and dad. You raised an amazing son, just to let you know.
Very true. Very, very true. All right, Zach, have a good night, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Oh, I wanted to plug one more thing. I can plug it in now.
Okay.
I just want to make sure everybody knows, if you want to go see the movie tomorrow night at Bucks County Community College, I'm doing a panel afterwards, so I can give you information. It's on the website.
Yeah.
On my Facebook page. And then don't forget about Tyson's Run. It's running out this week, so Friday through next Thursday. So check that out at Water Tower Cinemas. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Great. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.